Oh. Don't want to be doing that, do we? Hey, welcome back to my channel. It's Wendy here from Toonpish Crafts, and I hope you're doing okay. Now, if you saw last week's video, I tried marbling with polyurethane resin. And I also tried a few other things as well, which I really like, to be fair. So this week I'm going to try a marbling with 3 colours, but I only have 2 hands. So I'm going to enlist the help of my husband with very specific instructions for stirring and let's see how he does his job. So this is the mould that I will be using. It was gifted to me. I didn't buy this mould, but I do love it. Now, people have linked similar moulds to me that are available on Amazon, but sadly I can't actually link this mould. And using the same resin as I did last week, which is white polyurethane from Resin. I am going to try a 3-way colour marble, so I've got 2 colours to go with the white polyurethane. The large one is Craft Geek Interstellar Bronze, and the other one is a gorgeous Persian purple from Eye Candy. And doing exactly the same as I did last week, I'm going to mix the colours in with the white polyurethane. These larger cups are taking 1 part of the polyurethane, and I have the second part in some coffee cups. I am going to put quite a lot of colour in here because I do want a strong colour. But polyurethane resin is actually quite forgiving when you put mica in it. And you can see I'm putting 3 large scoops of the Interstellar Bronze in 1 part of the polyurethane, and with the blue less powder because I know it's a strong colour, but it's still quite a lot of powder for the amount of polyurethane resin that I'm going to make. I certainly wouldn't be putting that amount of colour if it was epoxy resin. This is just 1 part of the polyurethane. I do stress that. Try and mix the colours before you mix both parts of the polyurethane together. It was then time to add my stencils, so I sprayed the entire mould up with isopropyl alcohol to give it a wet surface, and I placed my stencils down on the surface. Now, because I've sprayed it with isopropyl alcohol, I can move those stencils around quite easily without worrying, and in theory that should give them quite a good suction to stay put on that mould. But the plastic I used for the stencils is really quite good. So this is where I've enlisted my husband to help me stir. He's off to the left. You can see the shadow of his hand stirring the cup, and he is stirring the plain, clear, that's going to be white polyurethane. I'm stirring the colours. I couldn't possibly stir 3 at the same time, so he had his instructions just to stir, not viciously, just to stir. And yeah, he did a really good job, and thankfully he helped because I would not have been able to do this if it wasn't for him. His stipulation for helping me was that he did not appear on camera, but you just have to trust me that he was there. As you only get 30 seconds to stir polyurethane resin, it would have been too much stress to stir 2 and then stir another. Once they're completely stirred, I pour all 3 into the same pot. So this is going to be a dirty pour marble. Now, last week was the first time I'd ever marbled polyurethane, and this week it's a 3 colour marble. And I don't know if these colours are going to work, but I wanted them contrasting so that we could see the marble effect with the white. Maybe there is too much colour in there, but the magic is going to happen when you see it cure. I do squirt it with isopropyl alcohol to help release those bubbles. So I've given you a time lapse of the cure, and it does change dramatically when it's curing. You can also see a lot of steam coming off of this while it's curing. It does get really hot. Now, I only left this piece to cure for about half an hour, so it was still really quite warm. 53.4 degrees centigrade. I've got gloves on because I know it's still warm. It's not hot anymore though, so I feel that it can be demolded really quite easily. I wanted to take the stencils out while it was still warm. I felt that it would be easier and more supple taking the stencils out at this point. Now the back looks very muddy, but I was quite excited to see the front. And I was very pleasantly surprised. I love how it came out. Now the blue hadn't quite dissolved and it had given it a spotty appearance, but I really didn't mind at all. But the majority of it is so well marbled, I think, and I was really happy with it. Now some of the polyurethane had gone under the stencils just a little bit, so I figured it was the right time to get them out. The sooner the better. I think there's only a fraction of polyurethane that got under there, and with a bit of luck I could pull the stencils out while the polyurethane isn't completely rock solid. It was like lifting up a crackle of colour that was just laying on top of the stencil, and it was figuring out really how to do it the best way. Now you can see there is a little bit of stencil left under that, but I do actually get that out later. One of them, however, had lifted up quite considerably, and there was a little bit of stencil that I could not get out. But as these areas are going to be filled with shimmering UV resin, it doesn't matter if some parts are deeper than others, because you're just not going to see it. Now I didn't want you to have to sit through me taking every stencil out, and it didn't actually take that long, but most of them came out absolutely fine. It was really just one stubborn one that was a little too deep. So now I can fill the stencils with the shimmer white UV resin from Let's Resin. In the shimmer UV resin box there are 2 white, and I absolutely love this white, so I'm so happy there's 2. Oh, don't want to be doing that, do we? Now if I can keep my hands on the equipment and not knock things over, I think I should be doing this okay. I'm putting the white in the same way I did last week with this is actually a dentist tool, which I use quite a lot for resin. But it did occur to me that there's a lot on this tray to do this way, so I needed to find a quicker way, just to keep my sanity from going off the rails really. I used cotton buds if I went over edges, just to clean up slightly, and figured I should try using the bottle itself. But the bottle nozzle was far too wide, and although it was working, I still would have ended up spending far too much time cleaning the areas where I don't want the wire to go. So I decided to try a black needle top bottle. This UV resin is really quite thick. It's not the normal thin, runny type of resin. It is quite thick, and I didn't start by using a needle top bottle because I thought it might be too thick for it to go through the needle top. But it was worth a try. So I filled up the needle top bottle only to about halfway, that was all, and kept my fingers and toes crossed that it would work. And to my joy, it came out of the nozzle beautifully. So now I had an application device that worked quickly and efficiently, and then I could just fly through, making all my snowflakes white. When I'd filled in 2, I thought I should cure them up in case I mess them up while I'm doing the others. So those 2 went under the lamp for 5 minutes before I went on and did the rest. When I'd completed them all, I was really happy with it, but I still thought it was lacking something. To me, Christmas is all about vibrancy and bright colours. So I did turn to get some more colour on this with some UV DTF stickers. Now, obviously, this is my own personal preference. You don't have to do that at all. You don't have to do snowflakes. It's just that I'm doing a Christmas themed video. But these snowflakes, I think, are absolutely gorgeous. They came from Temu. They were not expensive. They are meant to be for tumblers, and I don't tend to make tumblers, but I do like the patterns of each of these snowflakes. I thought they would go well on this tray. To add in a little bit more oomph. I could have stopped there, I could have done, but I didn't want to. I wanted to add a little bit more to it. So these beautiful UV DTF stickers we're going to add to the already, I think, beautiful tray. Can you call it a tray? I'm not so sure you can call it a tray. I think it's probably more a platter. I think a platter works, don't you? If you're enjoying watching this video, why not put a thumbs up? That will tell YouTube you're enjoying the content. It will encourage YouTube to push the video out to other people so they get a chance to watch it. That will really help my channel out more than anything else. And don't forget to go over and check out toonpish.com. There's quite a lot of items on there now. It's a growing website. It's not huge, I'm only a small business, but there might be something on there that you like and will help you craft. But I will try and put all the links for everything I've used in today's video in the description box below the video. But if I miss any, please do let me know. Now, I do like to finish my pieces off with something on the base, usually cork. And even though this is a large platter, the cork sheets that I have fit perfectly. I like to use cork that is extremely thin. I think this is 1mm cork. I do tend to find that the thicker cork cracks, and I prefer not to have a cracked cork on my bottom. But I think anyone would prefer that. This is sticky back cork, the best type there is, in my opinion. And once that's on that resin, it's not going anywhere. It really is sticky and difficult to handle sometimes, because it's rolled up. I tend to put it on the base and then cut round. If I cut round before I try and put it on the base, it will never work for me. You end up with bits showing through, or you miss placing it in the correct position. So I do a rough cut with large scissors to get rid of the sticky excess that could get in my way. I then go round with a tiny pair of scissors to trim up the last little bits. And with this platter, there is a secondary lip, so I couldn't have got the large scissors in there if I'd wanted to. But I end up with a really nice, tight, well-fitting base. I can then put my own logo on it, and I don't like putting the logo in the middle either, because you can miss the middle, only slightly, but it notices. So I tend to put my logo on the edge. Therefore you can't be wrong, can you? You can't get it wrong in the wrong place. It can't look odd if it's at the edge. And these little logos were printed for me by Amanda at Resin Supplies Den. Resin Supplies Den is a little Facebook group here in the UK, and they are really sweet and helpful, and a very friendly group. Now, some people may think that I put far too many snowflake stickers on this platter. I, personally, absolutely love it. Some of the snowflakes went over the edge and I snipped them to make sure they fit and stayed flat. I really enjoyed making this and I really like the outcome. So what would I do differently if I made this again? I think I would use more white and less colour to give it a more of a subtle marble look. And I think I would use bigger stencils to cover more of the platter, because I think it needed the snowflake UV DTFs because it was lacking, but then they kind of take over. So it's a double-edged sword. I really do like the ending. I like how it looks. Some people might find it a little bit too intense, but I can see why. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video and I really hope you've got something out of it. Come back and see me next week because you never know what I'm going to be up to. I never know what I'm going to be up to. Have a great week. Happy crafting and bye for now.